Mm, mm, mm. Come on, come on. Let's be honest. We're all still buzzing about Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, early kickoff at Villa Park. I'm still buzzing. I don't care that Manchester United have won. I don't care that Tottenham have won today. What I care about is Arsenal winning and also Manchester City dropping points. Football is a unbelievable, funny game. You can't predict anything. You certainly can't predict anything in this Premier League. But what a Saturday it was for us lot. Now, Dave, as you know, is in the chat and he's going to be doing the questions again today. As here's David. He's a Real Madrid fan, but he's got a little soft spot for Arsenal. I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. He's been panicking the last few days because at the beginning of the season, I don't know if he's a magician or he's just lucky, but he bet that Arsenal would win the league this season before a ball was kicked. He stands to win over £1,000 if it comes off. And he has been panicking the last few weeks. He's buzzing again now because his bet's back on, as he said earlier on to me today. The bet is back on now. He was giving up, and a lot of people were thinking maybe that was the end of the title run going into that Villa Park game. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of Arsenal fans were probably thinking at half-time that this is it. But, well, what a game, what a comeback, what a finish. I can't believe what happened. But listen, let's just go back to that half-time. Let's just go back to the first 5 minutes. You're thinking, right, Arsenal going to put on a top-class performance. First mistake of the game. Bosh, we're 1-0 down. But again, a fantastic response from the mighty Arsenal. Come back, got the equaliser. A fantastic goal from Saka, who again was brilliant on the day. Just when you think then we're going to go on and win the game, let's have another look at it. They go and score again. A good goal. I thought it was a well-worked goal. Yes, there's criticism of Arsenal's defending. But if Arsenal would have scored that goal, we'd have all been buzzing for it. Walked off at half-time, 2-1 down. And it was pretty doom and gloom in the away end, really. Like, you know, there was obviously like the still hoping that we could turn it around, but there was a lot of doubts in it then, like, you know, that this was one of those games again. Come out second half, and I actually said that this 45 minutes will see where we are as a team, see us where we are as our title credentials are concerned. And even, you know, some people were talking about top four could be under threat as well, like, you know, so that was unbelievable, like, you know. But what a 45 minutes of football. We come out, got the goal from Zinchenko, that made it 2-2. I'm then thinking that we're going to go on and win it, and come on, let's face it, when Eddie put Martin Odegaard through for an open goal and he missed it, I think there's a lot of people thought that would probably be the end of it, like, you know. And I'm going to have to say, I thought he was absolutely outstanding in that second half, Martin Odegaard. If he'd have scored that goal, I think it would have been a wonder 45 minutes for him. Then, as I think in all football, it can be fine lines between winning and losing. You need a little bit of luck. Ramsdale with a fantastic save. It hits the underside of the bar and comes out. Then we go up the other end. And a great strike from Jorginho. I've watched it a few times now. That was not easy. A great shot. It's the bar. You think it's coming out and it's going to be one of those days. It bounced old poor Emi Martinez on the head and it goes in. Unbelievable scenes. Now, if you was at the game and you listen and watching this, you know what I mean. It was absolutely one of the best moments in an away end for a very, very long while. The absolute place went into meltdown. If you was watching it on TV, I've spoken to a few mates that have, they was all going mad in front of the TVs and everything like that. What a sensational end to the game. And then, you know, I'm going to have to say, Villa put it on us a little bit, like, you know, got a corner and you're thinking, oh no, if they score this 3-3, it's going to end a dramatic sort of game for us. We've had a few of them in the past, haven't we? Like, so Anfield and Newcastle ring a bell, and there's probably plenty more, like. But all of a sudden, the ball goes up the other end. And people, I think, have criticised Vieira a little bit there. Well, what a sensational pass that is, by the way. Setting off Martinelli, there's only one winner, and Arsenal have won the game 4-2. Brilliant. We're going to talk a little bit about Jorginho, because I think that in his 2 games, I think he's impressed. I thought we had a very, very good game against Manchester City, and I thought we played very, very well yesterday. You're not going to replace Thomas Partey. That is, that's a gimme. But just like Eddie has come in and done the job, I think it's taken its toll a little bit on Eddie over the last few games. But, initially Eddie come in, there was people saying we didn't miss Jesus, and that's a credit to Eddie. And I felt that yesterday, no one was saying when we were walking out of that ground that we missed Thomas Partey. Even though we probably did, they weren't saying it. That was because it was a great performance. And what I liked about Jorginho's performance yesterday was that when we went 1-0 down, I don't know if you noticed it, if you was watching the game in the stands or on TV, I don't know if it showed it on TV, but he was calming everybody down, telling them what to do, how to go about it, dictating the play in there. I thought he was brilliant on the day. And even though he don't get that goal, wow, it was a magnificent moment for him. And, I thought he contributed in our win there. And I think it's fantastic, that the fans, all of them singing his name at the end of the game. That must have made him feel very, very happy because, coming from Chelsea to Arsenal, he knows what sort of coming with that. The sort of fans are not going to be 100% on his side. He knows he's got to win the fans over. He's not silly. He's a professional. He's experienced. He knows what he's got to do. I think he's done it. And I think he's done it well. But what I look at that performance, I think people have criticised it and said, maybe you ain't going to win leagues like that. Of course, you're not going to win leagues playing like that. But sometimes in a season, you get a game like that where it's a little bit mad. It's not going to plan. The tactics go out the window. You just got to find a way to get on and win the game. And that's exactly what we done. We're 2-1 down at half time. It means we've got to get the 3 points. We've got to score 2 goals. Not easy in the Premier League, especially when you can't really concede no more. I felt that our defence is probably not as stable as it should be. We've probably got to work on that. But in saying that, we got the result, and we got the win. I have to say, it energised me. That performance and the way we played gives me the belief that we can go on and challenge for this title. I think if we'd have won it 1-0 with a scrappy goal, and a little bit like last season, for instance, I think if we'd have won it like we did last season there, I don't think it would have convinced a lot of fans that this is different and whatever. So I think from that point of view, I said on my fan cam yesterday also that we needed to get that sort of performance. We needed to get that sort of result and performance and give everybody a magnificent lift, and it certainly did. And I'm pretty sure. Let's put the boot on the other foot if you want. Like, if Manchester City were losing the game, and then we're looking in the 90th minute to have dropped 2 points and then come back and score, how we'd have felt. We've been a little bit deflated going into that game. But my God, when I got home and watched the highlights of that, how the hell did they not win that game? The chances they missed. Now, I felt we missed some scissors, when we certainly did. Odegaard, Eddie had the one-on-one, but nothing in the way of chances that they had. Haaland missing from 2 yards open goal, free header and save after save. And then the one shot on target Nottingham Forest had, they scored. Listen, it's an unbelievable turn of events. I'm going to be really honest. When you looked at it at the beginning of Saturday morning, you would have actually said that if anybody was going to drop points, it would have been us. If one guarantee was that Manchester City would go there and get the result. But this is the great thing about the Premier League now, and we've, it's important that we win games. It's difficult to win games, so every game you've got to work for it, get the result, and then we can move on and hopefully other teams drop points around us. I'm going to say I did watch a little bit of the Man United game today. I thought in the first half Leicester were brilliant, and if you would have picked a winner that day, you would have said them. But they went 1-0 down from Manchester United being clinical, taking their chances. At the end of it, they've won 3-0. But I was impressed with what I see of Leicester today, and that's going to be a difficult game for us next week. If we don't be as clinical as Man United, because if we don't take our chances against these teams, then we're going to get punished. I see a lot of people criticising Eddie and things like that, and I was one of them yesterday when he went 1-on-1. And rightly so. If you're being paid the big bucks now, and you've got to take those chances that he's having. I don't think the header was as difficult as the. I wouldn't say that was a real easy chance, but when you're 1-on-1 after a lovely little bit of play from Odegaard, he should actually go and score that goal or do a little bit better than what he did. But listen, he could have been the hero yesterday as well, because he broke down the challenge, didn't he? Then laid it off on a plate for Odegaard to put us 3-2 up, and Martin misses it. So again, fine lines between success and failure, and if he takes his chance and we win that game, everybody going, well, how well Eddie's done. Becoming a little bit of a problem for me. When you look at Eddie and you look at Martinelli, lack of goals. Martinelli obviously scored yesterday, but in strange circumstances. Didn't think he'd done great when he came on, if I'll be honest. But got the goal. 5 games now without a goal for Eddie. I think realistically, he's, I'm not sticking up for him or trying to defend him and everything like that. I thought he was poor again yesterday as far as goal scoring was concerned. His hold-up play wasn't quite great. But I think, he's playing week in, week out. Maybe he's getting a little bit jaded, but he needs a goal. I think what confidence you need goes. I have to say, I'm going to say it now, I thought Zinchenko was poor yesterday. And then he gets the goal. And look at his performance after he scored. The confidence comes back and he's doing things like that. So it's very, very important. Confidence. And, you wouldn't believe it as professional footballers that they do need confidence. And Eddie needs a goal now. And Leicester next week, is a real big game for him. He needs to score, because we don't know when Jesus is going to come back. We don't know if Jesus is going to come back and he's going to be okay and he's not going to hit the ground running. We don't know. But we do know that Eddie's there at the moment and being fit and whatever. I didn't think it worked with Trossard on the left-hand side. Everybody sort of pointing the finger at Martinelli. It seems very, very strange that the same position and the same sort of performance from Trossard. Didn't look like he was going to get in the game. I didn't think get served the service that well. I will say that on the right hand side, I thought Ben White done really well, and Odegaard. They feed Saka every opportunity, them two, and Saka gets the benefits from it. I thought he was great again yesterday. Looked like he picked up an ankle injury at the end, but that's going to happen when you continue to get him fouled. But listen, he was superb yesterday. I felt fantastic goal. But I thought it was a fantastic captain's performance from Martin Odegaard yesterday when it mattered. You're 2-1 down, you're looking at your big players, you're looking at your captain, and he done really, really well, so it was really, really good. I thought Ben White, was great on the right hand side, run himself into the ground, those gut-busting runs that he's doing to overlap. And 9 times out of 10, he doesn't get the ball, but he has to make those runs. But I thought he played well, links up well with Saka. And they've got a lovely little combination, them three, Martin Odegaard, Saka and Ben White. It's a lovely little combination. We haven't quite got that on the left-hand side. I think Granit Xhaka wasn't quite as good as he has been of late. Martinelli's form has dropped off, and Zinchenko plays more of a that inverted one. But listen, I'm going to just, before we go on to the questions, big up the manager. I was criticising him, not when he just made a like for like change, do something different. But he took off Trossard, brought on Martinelli. Martinelli scored. I thought then, Vieira he brought on and he contributed as well. I think that his substitutions he got right. And I think at the end of the day, I was sort of looking, come on, change things. But on other occasions, we've criticised the manager for making the changes too quick, panicking like he did at Man United. He kept his cool. he kept his powder dry and reaped the walls from it, I think, So big credit to the manager. And in a game like that, which was like all over the shop as well, I think it was a game where it was a crazy sort of a game. So the manager kept his head. And I think that was very, very important. We got the 3 points and a magnificent 3 points that they were So we're getting to a few questions now. We've got another 15 minutes to go. So hopefully Dave's not falling asleep with my talk.
I'm not falling asleep. I'm here.
And we can go from there,
I'm here.
Over to you, Dave.
And just to clarify to everyone in the beginning, when they said about my bet, it's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I remember you saying it what I mean?
It's true. But because I work with a Tottenham fan, I'm kind of like half and half.
Yeah, half and
It's
half.
hard. It's hard and it's hard. It's hard. Why do you think Arteta is refusing to sub Saka off? Question from Query. I think it's a good time to toughen it up. Why is he asking to be subbed when we need him to win?
So it's a good question because Saka was obviously injured at the end there, but I think it was just an impact injury, and I felt he could probably get through it. And the thing is, if you watched the game yesterday, he frightens defenders, Dave. He frightens, the defender as soon as he gets the ball, they're backing off. And I just felt that, calculated risks from the manager. I think he feels that he's got 7 days for him now to recover. A couple of days on a treatment bench and he'll be all right. Maybe if we had a midweek game, he might have took him off a bit earlier. But I think it was more of an impact bruise or whatever, a couple of days treatment, and I think he'll be okay, So, but I felt that it's a difficult one when we go into the Europa League. I think that he's going to have a rest at some time, and that's probably where it's going to be. But he's such an influential player. As you see yesterday, it's, even a 70% Saka is as good as anything going on that pitch yesterday. So it's a very, very difficult one. But I felt that, it was probably the right decision. But hopefully he'll be okay. I'm pretty sure he will be.
Yep. Next question from Shan Mugam. He says, we have to big up our team. Still top without our main man Jesus for 3 months. If Haaland or Rashford were out, then he doesn't think that City or Man United could do the same. What do you think about that?
That's a great what we were saying only the other day. What team, take Harry Kane out of Tottenham for 3 months? Would they still be where they are now? Haaland, take him out of the team for 3 months. Will they be great? Take who else? I think Liverpool have missed players and suffered from it. Yes, take Rashford out. Say if Rashford now picks up an injury, he's out for 3 months. Could they sustain what we've done? Eddie gets a lot of criticism, but I think he's got to be given a bit of praise for that, and everybody in the team. To lose your star man like we have for that amount of time, and we are missing him now. We are missing him over the last 3 or 4 games. You can see that, but I think it's a magnificent achievement from the players that we've continued to win that, keep winning. Get results against Manchester United and Tottenham away without him in the side, and not just in the side, in the squad. Because if he was playing, just imagine with 20 minutes to go, either him already coming on in those last 20 minutes. We haven't got that option at the moment. So big up to everybody at the football club at the moment. And, I will say this, even when we looked at that little dodgy run, I don't think we played that bad against Manchester City. We just made mistakes, and got punished for them. We made a mistake yesterday and got punished for it. And also, I think the game against Brentford, we wasn't that bad. The one game that we have been really, really poor was Everton, but other than that, I don't think we've been too bad. And I felt that yesterday, I didn't think we was that bad in the first half if we wasn't that good. But in the second half, we was back to our very, very best.
Nice. Next question from Mimi. That's a great name. Would you start Jorginho versus Leicester if Partey is available?
Whoa, what a great question. Put that in the comments. Let us know in the comments. Would you start Jorginho or Partey in the next game? For me, if Partey's fit, he plays. If he's 100% fit. If he's 100% fit, then he plays. If he's only 70% fit, on the bench. And because of Jorginho's fantastic performances in the last couple of games, I think that we've got that option now. So for me, Partey is our best player. I think he's influential. I don't think that we'd be as vulnerable as we have been at the back. But I would start Partey because I think he's our best player.
So the next one is coming from Sakaya. Why do you think our defense has become so shaky?
That's a good question. I've got some good questions here coming out. Do you know what? I have no idea because I look at all four of them and I think they all tick the boxes for me as good defenders and that. I think at times we leave ourselves a little bit one-on-one situations at time. When the goal happened yesterday, the first goal, it's a one-on-one. I don't know. Maybe we haven't got quite as much protection when Partey's not in there. We've conceded 5 goals without him being there. I think that has to be looked at. If like when you look at the great defences of Arsenal, they had Patrick Vieira and they had Edu, or they had Patrick Vieira and Petit, or Patrick Vieira and Gilberto. Ray Parlour in there as well, just protecting that back four. As good as they were, as good as those central defenders were, they had protection. So I think that may be something to do with it. And Arsenal, I think, if I've been realistic, have been making these sort of mistakes all season. Some of them we've been getting away with it. The last few weeks, we've not been getting away with those mistakes. So cut out the mistakes, and I think we'll be fine.
Nice. The next one comes from Ash West. He says, Lee, do you think United will be more of a title challenger than City?
Oh, no.
This season itself?
This season, no. I think that I don't think Manchester United are out of it. I think, they're very, very much in it. I think they're 4 points behind Manchester City. They've played Arsenal twice and they've played Manchester City twice. So when people turn around and say, "Oh, they're out of it," they echoes it they're very much in it, and so I think a lot will depend on next week. If they beat Newcastle, that will give them a good injection of confidence. The pressure's off about winning a trophy. So they pulled out a very, very good result in midweek against Barcelona. It'll be interesting to see what happens there next Thursday. The only thing that I would say maybe go against Manchester United this season is the lack of depth in their squad. They've got a few injuries. They've got playing lots and lots of games. They're still in the FA Cups. They've gone as far as they can in the Carabao Cup. And of course, they're still in the Europa League, and they've got all that travelling that comes with that if they get through this one as well. So I think somewhere along the line it may take its toll. If Rashford gets injured, that would be a massive dent for them. But they're very much in the title race at the moment, and that's why it was very, very important that we won on Saturday. It gives us that little bit of a cushion in front of them. We've got 2-point gap now in front of Manchester City, which is not enough. If we can win against Leicester and then beat Everton, we would then be 5 points clear. And that would be very, very nice going into the light. If we can be 5 points clear, guys, and getting into single digits of games left, that's a very, very good thing to do. And that's got to be the aim now.
Next one is from Jamie Drummer. He wants Vieira to start instead of Xhaka. Let Xhaka restart himself again. What do you think? That's what he says.
I get what you're saying. I felt there was a chance we could do that this week. Give Xhaka a rest. Didn't go for it. So I think what we could do now is we've got a week off now. We haven't got a game in midweek, and then we've got Saturday, Wednesday. I thought Xhaka was all right yesterday. Not great, but I think points have been made. He is a leader in there, So let him get a reset now in the next couple of days.
Nice, good one. Okay. Civil Salad says there are going to be more turns in this race. Are we confident that we can still push for the title? And when obviously Jesus and Partey come back, when they do.
Yeah, I think that's the key now, isn't it? Just imagine if we can be 5 points clear and then them two coming back, or even Partey already being back, and Jesus coming into the squad. That would be a magnificent boost for us all. So listen, if we can keep, we just got to keep going, believing that we can do. I think we've got a very, very good chance of winning the title. With the run of games that we've got now, if you have a look at the games now, Leicester's going to be very, very difficult. But if we can get the 3 points there, we've got Everton at home, Bournemouth at home. I think then we go to Fulham away, it's going to be a tough one, and then Crystal Palace at home. Don't get me wrong, all tough games, but they're games that if you want to win the title, that you can get sort of 15 points in the next 15. That's taking you away from one of those clubs. I'm not saying it's going to take you away from Man City. Could be taking you away from Manchester United. Can be taking you away from Spurs, and Newcastle have faltered now, haven't they? So for me, I think this is a massive, massive couple of weeks now for Arsenal. And yeah, just take it game for game. We're in a good position. I think that if we'd have lost or even drew on Saturday, I think maybe the title aspirations have been a little bit tough. But at this moment in time, it's in our hands. If we win every game, and Manchester City win every game, we win the league, guys. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? I know it's not as simple as that, but that's how it is at the moment. It's in our hands.
Nice. Next question from Chaitanya, regular listener. Lee, are you concerned with Odegaard miss? When he squared it across fine margins when you play big teams. Also concerned with no updates on Saka's contract.
Yeah, listen, I think the Saka contracts. Let's get that. I think they're quietly confident that they can get something sorted out there. I'm pretty certain we'll be done before the end of the season. At this moment in time, I'm not too worried about that. Am I worried about? What was the other part of the question there?
Are you concerned with how Odegaard missed his chance?
Listen, the greatest players miss chances. It's one of those things. I'd be more worried if we're not creating chances. Do like the game against Everton, didn't really create too much. And that's why I was more worried about that performance than any other performance so far. I think we had 20-odd shots yesterday. So, listen, be more concerned if we're not creating. But we're creating, and listen, it's a professional footballer. 99 times out of 100, he buries that. But listen, they all miss them. Haaland, go and have a look at Haaland's miss. It's incredible.
Next one, has our style become predictable for other teams of late, and has it caught up with us?
Didn't yesterday, did it? 4 goals at Villa Park. Can't do no better than that. And 20-odd shots. I felt we looked a little bit sharper in front of goal yesterday in and around that there. Went 1-0 down, 2-1 down. 4-2 winners. Against a manager that knows how to defend teams and get teams to play in blocks. I think we've done very, very well yesterday. And I think that I'm not worried about that when we produce something like that yesterday.
Next one, Lee. What changes would you be making for the Leicester game? I want to see Martinelli and Trossard both in the lineup, alongside maybe Kivior. Is Kivior been introduced yet? I'm not sure.
No, he's not made any. I think we'll see him certainly in the Europa League. See what happens there. I think that's the first game that he's going to play. May play at Everton at home. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think that they're just settling him in and that they're I'll bring back Martinelli, but listen, I think it ain't a bad thing. Like what I see yesterday with Martinelli, 20 minutes from the end, pace. When against a tiring defence, I wouldn't be against him having a little break and then the game against Everton coming back. I think yesterday proved that manager's going to keep faith in Eddie until Jesus is back. He's not going to drop him and make that change. Listen, we won 4-2 yesterday. Listen, if he was going to drop Eddie, he was going to drop Eddie yesterday, and he didn't. So I don't see that happening.
Next one is Lee. Do you think Jacques and Eddie need resting against Leicester? Would you see Kieran Tierney at left back when maybe Zinchenko playing in the 8 and Trossard up 2? That's questions from Mark Backridden.
Yeah, I sort of said that before the Aston Villa game, but I don't see the manager making too many changes. I think if he was to make changes, he's done. Listen, it was a bold decision from the manager not to make too many changes on Saturday. So I don't think they'll make too many changes. I think there'll be a few more in the Europa League, depending on who we get. You know, we don't know who we're going to get in that yet. So for me, I honestly think that the manager won't make too many changes. I think that as I say, I thought that Granit Xhaka was out on his feet on Wednesday, but he was still in the team on Saturday. I don't see too many changes really. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Daniel Hartley says, question, would Emma Smith-Rowe be an option to give Xhaka a rest in some games?
Yeah, it could be. Very much so. I think that Emil can play in that role there. My biggest concern with Emil is he ain't got no minutes under his belt. And where is he going to get these minutes from? Hopefully, he'll be fit for the Europa League and get some minutes in then. And like a game like that when it's tight, 2-2 in the 90th minute is not going to come on. Hopefully, we can be like 3-0 up against Leicester with 20 minutes to go, and then you can get him some minutes there. But I don't see that happening in any of our games at the moment. So I find it's going to be very, very difficult to get him minutes. So, I think that the only time he's going to get them is probably Europa League. So, like a couple of games in the Europa League, I think they come Thursday. So, he may get some minutes then, and hopefully, do himself well, because we need him back with some minutes in his legs.
The next one is from Original Heavy B. Question is for William Saliba's form. Is William Saliba's form? Sorry, a concern now. He doesn't look the same player since the World Cup.
Yeah, he hasn't. I think that his form going into the World Cup was just beyond exceptional. It was incredible. I think he's had a little bit of a dip. Don't forget he's young, learning. But I thought he was back to his best. Not his best, but that was his best game yesterday. I felt he'd done a lot better. I think that he'll come again. But he's come up against some different things in his game that he probably hasn't been used to. Big centre forwards and things like that. Ollie Watkins is a good player. Holds the ball up well, very, very powerful. I felt he'd done him, if I'll be honest, for the goal. So, he's not quite there back to his very, very best yet. But that was a better performance for him.
Next one is from Gooner Legend. Lee, why do you think we've started to leak goals after we looked so solid at the back for the first 18 or so games?
Well, we've not been solid at home, have we? We've been conceding goals. It was like a little a dripping of goals all the time. If you go back to Liverpool 3-2, Leicester 4-2, if you remember that one. Tottenham, we conceded. Manchester United 2 goals, 3 against City. So I think we've only kept 2 clean sheets at home all season, Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. So we've been leaking goals. Not so much from away from home, but we've started to we need to shore that up. Without a doubt, we need to shore that up. I don't really know why that is that we're leaking goals. I think we're a little bit open at home because we're attacking a little bit more. But I think when you have a look at, it's something that I think the management at the club have got to look at, because roughly we're probably having 65%, 35% we're having to defend, and in that 35% we're conceding far too many goals for that ratio of a percent. So it's something that we need to look at.
Super chat, and I think this gentleman maybe needs to be clarified the rules, but he said Lee and Saka will not play the Leicester game because of the 5 yellow cards, but I think the yellow cards reset after 19.
Yeah, that resets games in February, So
exactly.
If you get 10, then you get suspended now,
exactly.
So that's reset now, so that's not a problem. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the super chat anyway. And Ash I says, how good was Jorginho on the ball on the weekend?
Brilliant. I thought he was very, very good. Brave on the ball. When you're 1-0 down, up against it, 2-1 up against it, you can hide a little bit. Didn't do it. He kept himself wanting the ball. I was very, very impressed with that. I was very, very impressed with that. Hasn't got the power of passing, but nor of a lot of players. But I thought he done a very, very good job in there, and well pleased. Well pleased.
Yeah. Devin Palmer, he says, does the season feel like the past ones when we won the league to you, Lee? For all your Arsenal winning titles,
Yeah, it's a
does it
great
feel the same?
question. Great question. I relate it a little bit to the 89 one, where I feel that we're a little bit young, inexperienced at times. George Graham was probably in his I think took over in 86, 87. So it was about 3 years. Mikel's just a little bit longer, but yeah, I do see similarities with that. I like I like the young boys that we've got in the team at this moment in time. You can relate to them, which you did with that team there over the course of the few years. I think the 89 ones are very, very similar to this one because I think in 91 we was a little bit more experienced. We knew how to win it. The same the 98 one we was 10 points behind going into January, so Christmas time. So I don't relate it too much with that one because we chased down Man United. This one we're out in front. So we was out in front for not all the time in the 89 one, but for a majority of it. So I do relate it to that one.
Next
And
one.
it turned out well.
Yeah, next one is again from Ash actually. How can we give Saka more protection? All they do is kick him all day long, and that's the
I
truth.
don't know.
It reminds me of Hazard. It reminds me of Hazard. Hazard did get
Yeah,
kicked a lot as well.
yeah. And do you know what? I think it's part and parcel of the game. You know what I mean? It's a casualty that you're going to have to put up with. I think it's going to happen all the time. He's going to get kicks all the time. Because you're a good player. Grealish gets it, doesn't he? As you said, like Hazard gets it, and Saka's going to get it. I just think it's something that we're just going to have to put up with. And what teams do is that they want to kick him and another want to kick him. You know what I mean? It's not just the same player, and and unfortunately, the referee's not going to come in and for the first tackle they seem to let him off. I just think we're just going to have to get on with it. He took a bit of stick yesterday, but when you're that good, that's what happens. Listen, Maradona was a great player back in the day. Never got any protection like these players. You know what I mean? So it's just something that we're going to have to just deal with. He's that good, and we're just going to have to deal with it.
Yep. Next one we've got is from. Actually, I'm going to leave that one to last. Actually, that's a good question. And then we have Karen saying, "What were your actual thoughts at half time, Lee? Like, what was you thinking of at half time?"
Doom and gloom. I honestly thought that we was gone. You know what I mean? But I did have the hope that we could turn it and come round. It was really when I was a bit numb from it all, and it was just. I actually said to my mate, I actually said to Julian, this next 45 minutes is going to show us everything we need to know. This is it. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was down. I thought that we was going to struggle. When even worse when Odegaard missed, I did think that was it. But as some people always say, keep the faith. And do you know what? It's funny, Dave. You know what I mean? So you have. Say if there's 4 or 5 of you go to a game, there's always the one that's optimistic. Yeah, we're going to get back in this game. There's the one that says, no, it's all doom and gloom. I'm a little bit in the middle. 1 minute I'm doom and gloom. We're going to lose this game. When we get to 2-2, but I'm on the camp of then we're going to win it. But there's someone that will say, I bet we concede again. So it was a roller coaster of emotions. I've got to say like that. From the word go. But I always felt we had a chance of getting back in that game because we was playing that well. But yeah, half time it was looking bleak. I have to say,
Okay, next one is a super chat from Ibi. It says they are a fan from 2008. There's so many of Arsenal fans who haven't seen Arsenal win a title in terms of a Premier League title. What are your memories of your first one ever seen with Arsenal winning a title, Premier League title?
Well, very
1880s from Lee,
much.
yeah?
It was obviously the first one for me was '89, and winning it like we did in the last kick of the game,
Yeah.
and you think the emotions of that Aston Villa game yesterday. Well, you can times that by 1,000 what it was like that night. But what a way it was. And I'll picture the scene if you don't know this. We had 3 games left: Derby at home, Wimbledon at home, Liverpool away. If we beat Derby, who were bottom of the league, and we beat Wimbledon, who were about fourth from bottom, the Anfield game didn't matter. We'd have won the league. But we lost against Derby, and then we drew against Wimbledon. And that meant we had to go and beat Liverpool and then win by 2 goals. And that's what we did. So it was an incredible season where at one season, a little bit like this one, that's why I go relate to it, that you thought, well, we got a chance of winning the league here. We got a chance of winning the league. And then just when you thought we was going to win it, we had a little bit of a wobble and we got ourselves over the line with some really difficult games. Middlesbrough away, I remember it. Martin Hayes scored his only goal for Arsenal that season, and we didn't play well, but we nicked it 1-0 on a very, very bumpy pitch up in Middlesbrough. And then you think, yes, we're going to win it now, and so you never know. So there's going to be more twists and turns. Don't worry about that, and emotions coming from it like that. But listen, when you actually win that league, there's nothing a better feeling than and to do it in the last minutes we did in '89 was unbelievable. The one in '91 was a little bit better because we only lost one game going through. And even in the Invincible year, there was a few little worrying moments, but all in all, we got through, so that was good,
I've just seen expressions pop up on Match of the Day too. We've done a little segment. He's just on a Match of the Day too right now.
Oh, brilliant! Well done.
Yeah, yeah. I just seen it pop up on the screen, which is crazy. And Lee, I thought you were going to say the first winning title you saw was in 1930, mate.
yeah. Dave, it's just as well we ain't together now, because I think I might have to slap you for that, you know what I mean?
Next one. I think this is going to be the final one because we're just running over a little bit. Lee, this is a good one since obviously the interest for Man United has grown huge, especially from Qatari investments. Hey Lee, do you think the Cronkies can compete with the mega rich owners in football? I'm worried about this, especially when it comes to transfers.
That's a good question. Obviously financial fair play comes into it a little bit, but listen, I don't think anybody will be able to compete with Man United if that's the case, because they have got the financial clout, and also can spend a little bit more than everybody else. So it's going to be very, very difficult. I think the Cronkies have backed us to a certain degree. I do feel that we can't go gunning too much money at it this time around, because we would be caught with the financial fair play irregulation. So we'll have to wait and see on that, So look, for me, the Cronkies, I think, is going to be a massive summer, because do you know what? If we do actually get into the Champions League, then there's always been, we haven't got Champions League, we haven't got Champions League. Fair, FFP, you know what I mean, is an excuse and whatever, there ain't those excuses in the summer. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, So it's a very, very good question. Look, listen, if if the Cronkies can't compete with that, then maybe they look to sell. I don't know. It's a very, very difficult one, like, you know. But they actually might be looking at it now and going, look at the interest in Manchester United. Look at, there's a bit of interest with Spurs. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, they're going to. I don't think there's going to be short of takers if Arsenal ever come up for sale.
Yeah, I think that 5 billion apparently, Man United. It's crazy. Arsenal will probably be in the same region as Chelsea, I'm guessing.
Yeah, 3-4 billion, like,
Yeah, something like that. I think they will be licking their lips if they had that, to be honest.
Yeah. So there you go. Not a bad little investment, is it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Well, thanks for all the questions, guys. Much appreciated.
fantastic. We're really enjoying this, guys. It's something that we sort of
Something
stumbled
new.
across.
Yeah.
Because Dan's been on holiday and all that, like, and we stumbled across this, and it's been very, very successful, and we quite enjoy it, don't we, Dave?
We do. Yeah, I'm David Belloby. That's me. My name, mate.
Yeah,
David Belloby.
Dave Belloby.
Lee top man judges.
Yeah, right. So, but well, we've been enjoying it, and you know, like, good. Thanks for everybody watching, and it's something that we quite enjoy, and I quite enjoy it. It gives me like me 15-minute little chat about what I do and what I say, and you know, if any other topics coming up, we're going to be jumping on it if anything happens, and we'll go from there. And of course, you know, we'll maybe do something just before the game on Saturday for Leicester. But thanks for everybody for the comments and everything like that. And
any final thoughts, Lee? And before, obviously, your final thoughts, make sure everybody smashes the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Lee Judges TV. A lot of people actually, I was checking the statistics, a lot of people actually who watch Lee Judges TV aren't subscribed to the channel. So please make sure you do. And Lee, any final thoughts, obviously, before obviously the next game? Anything that you want to say to the Arsenal fans?
My thought is this: it's never easy to win the league. It's never easy to win a game in the Premier League. It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster that we're on, and when you're on a roller coaster, enjoy the ride.